Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the live reaction show with myself, Steve Wyss, and Simon Holden. How are you doing, Simon?
I'm doing great, mate. Great to be back.
Good to have you on here. We were actually encountering some technical difficulties. So if you are watching live, do leave a comment so I actually know this is working.
Yeah. We're not just talking to ourselves. Yeah.
I know it's one of
Won't
those.
be the first time.
We're not sure. There's been some issues with the broadcaster, if you want to call it that. But yeah, look, we're at half time here in the big Premier League game between Liverpool, who've gone to Old Trafford today against Manchester United. 1-0 to Liverpool. They've dominated the half, I think it's fair to say. Minus 500 to win now in 90 minutes. The tie is plus 540, which, based on sort of history, feels quite big to me. And Man United 12-1. No doubt Liverpool were the better team in that first half, but will they regret missing some of those chances, Simon?
Well, I think the last 20 minutes, they've assumed complete control of this game. And really, they've missed four big opportunities. And like you said, I just wonder if that'll come back to haunt them. I'm starting to like the look of that draw. I think Ten Hag's going to go through them like a dose of salt, as they say. And we should see Rashford to be a bit more. He seems to have been playing so defensively. He's been the big threat against Liverpool in the last few games. So I would think we'd see him a little bit more offensively in this game, and an improved performance from United. They're going to have to, because this crowd is starting to turn in the last 5-10 minutes. And there was an incident where Liverpool forward went over, and the Man United crowd were very keen for them to continue playing, and they didn't. They kicked it out and did the honourable thing, if you like, but that did not go down very well. And I think they need to get this crowd back on side sharpish. The only way they're going to do that is to come out.
I totally agree. Welcome in, Gaucho, by the way. Thanks for the comment. I think it's fair to say we are live, certainly in some capacity at least, Simon. But I mean, the last time we were on the reaction show, it was actually the same fixture, ironically enough.
Yeah, I know.
We said the tie, didn't we, that day? And it's a little bit different. I feel like Liverpool are a lot better today, but Man United can't get any worse. They just simply can't get any worse, can they? I'm just looking for some odds on Bet Rivers here, because both teams to score, yes, I don't know what that'll be. I'd be interested in Liverpool's team total over 1.5. I think Liverpool get another goal here. The goal line is high, though. For a 1-0 game state, the goal line is between 3.25 and 3.5, which is frustratingly high. You know,
what interests me, Steve, is in the next goal, Manchester United plus 190. I don't think that's a bad shout.
Is that the next goal, Manchester United? Plus 190?
Yeah, plus 190. Liverpool minus 175.
Yeah, it's bigger than it should be.
It's for the simple reason that, United, if they're going to do anything, it has to be in the first 15 minutes of the second half. They have to come out flying. Otherwise, they're going to get beat 3-4-0 here, because they're being outclassed. Now, as an Everton, you only want Everton fans on this fixture. I know that. It's a source of great pain to us Toffees to see Liverpool constantly win, even against Man United. But they are the better team of the two. So the only way you're going to combat that is up your intensity level.
Yeah, I'm searching. I'm trying to find a really solid bet for us here, but sometimes they can't be found. Sometimes you just do have to watch a little bit more. I mean, I think the full-time score will be something like 2-1 to Liverpool.
I was going to say 3-1. And then you get your total goals over 3.5. For the simple reason that, and we will come on to it later when we're talking about the title, but which team has consistently scored from 87, 88 minutes till the 96th? Liverpool more than anybody in this league. And if it were to be 1-0 or 2-1, they play to the final whistle aggressively. So there's worse 3-1s, I think.
Yeah, there's a few comments coming in saying that it's more likely that Liverpool rack up the score here, perhaps, based on what we've seen. And I can't argue with that based on what we've seen in the first half. Liverpool are minus 120, minus 129 to win the second half, which, look, if they play like they did in the first half, they will win the second half. But I just know in the past, this fixture is a massive game. Both teams hate each other. If Man United can't come out second half and produce something here, they are totally spineless.
I agree. And also remember, Steve, that somebody's saying that to Liverpool to win the second half, Manchester United, you could still cash at plus 190 for the next goal, and they could lose this half 2-1 or 3-1.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So yeah, it's just some food for thought there. I think, yeah, at the moment I'm kind of just biding my time on this game. I want to see how it starts, second half. Just see how, because you'll soon get the general gist of it. That's what I would say there. I mean, it's a massive game, obviously, in the title race, and I mean, this is a reaction show, so I think we've got to have a bit of reaction to yesterday's results in the Premier League. Arsenal 3-0 win at Brighton. Manchester City came from behind against Palace to beat 4-2. A Man City side who were able to rest players in midweek and everything like that. Obviously, the result of this game is so important in the title race.
Yeah, it is. We're going to see it in real time, aren't we, though? The title race is going to crystallise in the next 45 minutes.
It was really, the same. Really last week when Neil was on, we had moments where Liverpool became favourites to win the title around about, I think, 35 minutes last week. It's kind of crazy how tight this race is, and it might well continue this way.
We spoke last time about when has there ever been three teams going for it? Well, it has happened. I went back to the time of Manchester United, Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday. I think that went certainly till the midweek of the last week. But we've got three teams that are playing like champions, and it's the immovable force, the immovable object, whatever. I probably got that phrase wrong, but you know what I mean. Something's going to have to give. Now we'll talk later. I've sort of tried to break this down, how this might go. And just want anybody watching this to sort of ask themselves these questions, because everybody's trying to get a handle on where the value is in this market. Now, I'm on Arsenal at plus 400, plus 200, plus 6. So for me, I'm quite happy with the position I've got. I think the price changes like every 2 minutes at the moment, but I think they're about the plus 210, aren't they? Something like that, Arsenal with Bet Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard to kind of quote odds really right now because it's so...
Yeah. But we've got a rough idea of where we are. Liverpool are a mild favourite over the others. And what I've broken down is who's playing the best football. Well, I think you're probably agreeing with this. I haven't seen your X comment earlier about the professionalism. We described Arsenal as a machine last night at Brighton. Who's playing the best football? I think Arsenal are. I genuinely do. Who's got the proven form? Who do we know do this year in, year out? Well, you've got to answer Man City in that question. And the last one that could be key, who's got the belief within the squad that they're going to win it? Now, there's only one team for me to answer that question. The team that keeps scoring in the 92nd, 93rd minute. Liverpool are not playing anywhere near as good a football as Arsenal, in my view. And I don't think they've got the pedigree of the last 10 years of Man City. But have they got the belief? And it could come down to that. If it does, but anybody playing this market, you've got to ask yourself, which of those three things do you think is the most important in this running? Because they're all playing like champions. Is it going to be who's playing the best football? Is it the proven pedigree? Or is it the team that look like their name's on the trophy?
Garcho makes a very good point. Both teams to score, yes, is plus money. If you do fancy that. I would actually maybe nibble that, but Liverpool have come out. Liverpool have come out strong in the first 2 minutes of the second half. I'll say that, but that does look like a big price. United have got to swing at some point in this game, even if it's consolation of some sort. But I think you broke it down pretty well there. My tweet last night, I said that Arsenal matches have become quite boring, haven't they? Probably a good sign for them. They control games well, and the defense is hard to penetrate. And it's been a while since I've been excited by one of their games. Now, that is not a dig at Arsenal by any means. That is actually. It's a compliment to them. And the only other side I've really felt like that, probably two sides that I can remember, Man City in recent years under Pep, and also the Chelsea side under Mourinho.
Yes.
And Arsenal remind me a little bit of, I mean, they're much more ahead of schedule. It should have been 2-0 there. Nunes with a chance blocked. For Liverpool, he misses so many chances. You just never would trust him, would you? No. But yeah, I think Arsenal now are ahead of of where I expected them to be. I always think Arsenal's going to win a title in the next 3 seasons. It could be as soon as this season, and no one could argue against it with the metrics and the way they've played certainly since Christmas. They've been unbelievable. So yeah, I agree. I think they're playing the better football, but the Champions League's coming into play. They are not used to playing Premier League football and Champions League football consecutively at a high level ever under this regime, under Arteta yet. So let's see how that goes. Man City are far used to that. They've got a massive squad they can rotate. Liverpool obviously still involved in Europe as well, but they should they should be making it to the final without too much sweat. And the Europa League games are much more open, attacking, and I don't think they take as much out of them in terms of the mental torture. Champions League can be really tough to negotiate. So there's pros and cons for all three sides. We've all got the calculator out now, who's going to drop points here and there. Yeah. I mean, the simple equation, if Liverpool do win today and all the remaining games, they are the champions. Goal difference might even come in to play potentially. We don't know yet. It's one of those, if you offer me a free $10 bet now, Simon, I don't know who I'd put it on. Probably Arsenal just on the value. But I just don't know who's going to win it now. That's the thing.
Well, if you can't split the three, you have to bet the bigger price if you're going to bet at all.
You do.
And secondly, I mean, something we talked about earlier, Steve, is that I think everything is on the line for Arsenal to try and win this title. I think the same about Klopp in his last year. I suspect with Manchester City, the Champions League is of equal importance. I don't think the Europa League or the Champions League for Arsenal are. I think they're going all out to win this Premier League. Now, it doesn't mean that Man City won't win it, but I don't think if you pressed the Arsenal team or the coaching and said, what are you in this for? Then it has to be.
There's been a goal against the run of play, Simon. Manchester United have equalised.
We did
Bruno Fernandes from absolutely nowhere. I think there's a mistake here. A mistake has cost Liverpool. I just had the corner of my eye. I think it's an absolute howler. I mean, there you go. I mean, no sign of it really coming, but you just know in this fixture, it just takes a moment, doesn't it? And now,
but ironically, Man United have not come out flying. Liverpool came out flying. But United hit them with a soccer punch.
Completely out of the blue. I think it's the young lad Kwanzaa who has made a massive mistake. He's rolled on the ball. He's passed it to Bruno, and Bruno's literally got an open goal from nearly the halfway line. So,
eyebrows were raised about his inclusion in the team. So this could be a big talking point for Liverpool.
Cannot believe that. But there you go. Anyone who did have the ball.
He's had a mare there, right?
Yeah, he's had an absolute shocker. I mean, dear me. I mean, if you had the balls to back that BTTS, yes, at half-time, you are cashed already. Something told me, that's intuition to call it experience, even though it didn't look like coming. Now it's really going to be game because Liverpool, they've got to go for the win. Manchester United have got to go for the win, really. They want to beat Liverpool. So I'll update on the goal lines when they come in. But I'm guessing the line will now be 3.5, 3.75. So it is over 3.75 goal line at -129. At this stage, I'd have to be on that over if I had gun to my head, because next goal, the next team just simply has to go for it massive.
Well, we did say the overs, because if that scoreline Liverpool 3-1 is now a serious live one. I mean, with Ten Hag, he's got to say to these Man United players who really have let the fans down with some shocking displays, that if they can win and possibly stop Liverpool winning the title or take them out of the favourite spot, a lot of their fans will wipe a few bad games out and they'll be back in the good books. So I think United have to go for the win here. They can't sit back. Well, they're not good enough to sit back for 38 minutes against this Liverpool team. So
those misses and Darwin Núñez. In event, I've always said I just don't know if Liverpool can win this title with Núñez. He's a fantastic player in so many ways, but he misses big chances, and he has done here. He might score, but he's already, I don't know. You can't miss crunch chances, Simon.
And we've also mentioned on this show before that with Arsenal winning games by 3 and 4, Man City starting to win by 3-1s, 4-1s. Liverpool are the team with the late goals, but you can't keep pulling the rabbit out of the hat in the 92nd minute every week.
You can't. And Man United have got a wind in their sails now. They're coming forward, looking a lot more positive.
And the atmosphere in the ground has
comes inside. It's a deflected shot. It's just over the top. And an escape there for Liverpool. It is opening up. Now, Marek has said, unfortunately, he's €500 down today. Needs some winning bets. He's thinking about anytime scorer, Son and Vlahovic. So, and yes, he's right. The Tottenham game, I do believe, is going ahead. There was an unfortunate incident last night in the early hours, I do believe, outside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Someone was stabbed to death. So there was doubts whether it was. I think it's going ahead. I've not seen anything. that's saying it's not going ahead. Spurs, Forest. Well, it's on the agenda anyway, Simon. So we might as well go into it now. There's still two Premier League matches to play today. We've got Spurs against Forest, and we've got Sheffield United against Chelsea. Let's start with the Spurs game. How do you see that one going? Tough side to predict at the minute. Spurs, aren't they?
Well, they are, but I do think that with Villa, you look at the two teams directly under them would be Villa and or around them, Villa and Manchester United. And you've got to say that all three of them have become incredibly inconsistent, and all three have lost games that you would imagine they were going to win. But Tottenham, I don't know. I think they've got a little bit more depth, a little bit more about them than Aston Villa and Manchester United in this run-in. I fancy them to win well today. I think they could put on a performance today.
Oh, Nunes again.
Yeah.
With an unbelievable miss. Yeah. I can't. The misses that this chap has, I just can't believe it. This is a locking goal. This should have been a goal.
Well, it is, and if you lose the title by 2 points on the last day,
my Lord, how has he not got this?
You play a video of all the one-on-ones with the goalie that he's missed, Steve.
Oh my Lord! I mean, I'm in a fantasy league. Who else plays fantasy Premier League out there? And I think my three biggest rivals in the league that I'm in, they've brought in Nunes recently, and it's quite sickening, really, because he misses so many chances. But I could never trust him myself. I can't believe that miss. But sorry, we'll go back to Spurs now. We've got minus 1.25 Asian handicap on Spurs. The goal line's 3.25. Any leans in that direction?
Yeah, I like the overs in this game. And I'm going to play a couple of correct scores. 4-1, 5-1. I think Tottenham will put on the show tonight. Yeah,
really interesting one.
Yeah.
Now, because there's a lot saying that this Forest can actually cause an upset here, but I suppose Spurs on the day are very much capable of net. Let's just see what price we can get on Bet Rivers for those correct scores. 4-1 is 15-1.
Yeah.
5-1 is 28-1.
Yeah, they'll do me. I think Forest will have a go first 20 minutes and might get caught out in this. I think Forest are going to beat the teams around them,
but they're not so good against.
They're going to stay up. Yeah.
And the Son anytime scorer, which was Marek was interested in. And I'm trying to find the price now on the goal scorer. I'm on the shots. There's so many markets, isn't there, to do it. Minus 127 to score any time. Son Heung-min, he's going to be on the penalties. He'll get chances. Richarlison, I think, is an injury doubt, so he's going to be playing up front. Werner probably coming in from the left-hand side. You wouldn't trust him to score any time, would you, at plus 165?
No.
But Son, you probably would. He's much more reliable. I think that's got to be a green light on Son for me.
Yeah, I like that. Think that's a solid bet. And even to score 2 or 3.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Now, the last time that you're on the show and Sheffield United were involved, Simon, in your words, you said it was going to be a Sergeant Slaughter, and it was a Sergeant Slaughter. Chelsea, minus 230 on the money line to do a job. I mean, Sheffield United just played away at Anfield. They've had a tough night.
Yeah.
They could be absolutely shattered. And I know that Chelsea had that emotional win. But this feels to me like the sort of game that either Chelsea are going to rock up and smash them, or there might actually be a shock. One or the other. I can't make up my mind. Probably more likely
Chelsea
to be a battery.
Smash. I like the idea of. I can't promise another 40-1 winner on this, but I do think Chelsea are starting to finally look like they worked out how they want to play. There seems to be, although the fans don't seem to like the manager. I don't know about you, Steve, but I think the last few times I've seen the players look like they've got a bit more motivation about them.
They have. Yeah, I would agree. They have.
Which means they may be starting to play for him.
I think it's just momentum. I think that the players realise that it's in their interest to actually put in better performances.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all that they've actually played a lot better recently. I mean, the handicap to me, I think it's a bit low. Minus 1.25 on Chelsea. I mean, just as long as they win the game, you're not going to. The worst thing that could happen is that you would lose half your stake.
I think that is a very, very safe and solid wager there.
Really safe, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't,
Yeah.
like I say, I think if you bet that 10 times, you're probably going to cash a winner 6 times and maybe a half loss 2 or 3. And Sheffield United for me would only avoid defeat once out of 10, twice out of 10 tops. They've really, after yesterday's results, we're going to talk about the relegation battle soon. They do look in a mess. It's the third game in the space of a week. Yeah, I mean, put me off Chelsea here, Simon. I'm struggling to see a reason not to actually back them, apart from their inconsistencies, of course.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you've just made the point. Then Sheffield had a really tough physical game at Anfield, but also psychologically, the late goals. That was a kind of heroic hour from them, and they must have left there so deflated. Now they're back at home. They've been getting walloped so many times. They'd be punch drunk by now, and the feeling around the club must be at such a low ebb that I just think you're right. Chelsea have been inconsistent, but a poor Chelsea performance, I think, is still going to be good enough to win this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, goal scorers that people are going to be looking at, Cole Palmer plus 102. That's a surprise that he's plus money, especially as he's on penalties. And
found a bit of form.
Nicholas Jackson plus 102, who's not a striker I trust, but he does have a knack of beating up the poor teams, I must say. He's the sort of player who will lick his lips at this matchup, won't he?
Well, anyone with any pace has got half a chance of of cashing here, because I mean, they're not exactly quick at the back, or and if they are going to try and they can't play for a draw. I think first 20 minutes they'll have a go. And we've said this before on here. It's not being nasty on it. We're just saying that this is as good as that they are.
Yeah.
Last
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Simon. Go on. Keep continuing.
No, sorry, but people were saying, they'll raise the game against Arsenal. They'll raise the game as a TV game. But raise it from what? The players are as good as they are. And I just think they've been genuine whipping boys. And Chelsea could,
Are we giving them a goal tonight? Are we giving them a goal, though, Sheffield United? Chelsea do not keep that many clean sheets. So are we
no, which is why I said I put 4-1, 5-1. I'll give them a
Yeah, I'm thinking rather than last time we did the 5 and 6-0 to Arsenal. I think you're looking at 4-1, 5-1 again, aren't you, to Chelsea, perhaps? 16-1 and 25-1. If I think there's more chance of it being, like I say, I think it's either going to be complete mauling or a random Chelsea cock up, where they just so bad that Sheffield United actually get. I don't see it being a tight Chelsea win, basically, is what I'm saying.
So I know what you mean.
So some interesting suggestions there. Marek was also asking about the Italian game later. Now, there is an interesting bet on the European show this week, which Daniele Fisichella did, and I think it does involve Vlahovic at Juventus, certainly to have at least a shot on target. Juventus are not in good form. They are against Fiorentina. A lot of people liking Juventus today, though, because the suspicion is that Fiorentina might be targeting the Europa Conference League coming up in midweek. And they might have an eye on the ball there. Juventus minus 124 on the money line. Hard to trust at the moment, but it might be a good situational spot for them. And Vlahovic, I think, is a pretty big price to score at any time, considering that he is normally knocking on the door of minus money. Plus 102 with Bet Rivers, Dusan Vlahovic anytime there. So I mean, I would certainly lean in that direction. Juventus get back on track, maybe win this to 0, go back to their sort of defensive strengths, and Vlahovic is obviously the most likely man to net there. And someone was asking also about the Nantes game later, Nantes against Lyon. I do like Nantes as the underdog in this fixture. I think they're a good side at the moment. They've got a new manager, and Lyon, another team, I think their heads are in the cup cloud. So I would be leaning towards certainly Nantes on a handicap. It's one of James Eastham's bets later as well. So if you're looking for some action later in those leagues, then those are the teams that I think we need to be looking towards. It's 1-1 at Old Trafford, Simon, after 63 minutes.
Yeah.
How's
How
this
about a
gonna
little
end?
parlay at Son to score any time?
Yeah.
Palmer to score for Chelsea, and your boy in the Juve match.
Well, yeah, I'll work it out now, actually.
I like that.
That could be worth going on. The goal line now is as low as 3.5, by the way, in the Man United game. For those who fancy going, I think there's one more goal at least. Whether there's two
Liverpool
more,
have looked a bit rattled, haven't they, since this equaliser?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you would get rattled, though, wouldn't you, when you've conceded a goal out of nowhere like that? And there were question marks about the young man, weren't they? At times, he's had some great performances, but in these title battles, you want proven performers who've got a bit more experience, perhaps under their ranks. Just trying to get this parlay up and running. Yeah. It's going to be roughly around 10-1, I think, off the top of my head.
Let's have a bit.
I mean, Vlahovic. Oh, bloody hell, I'm putting Nicholas Jackson in the parlay now. I don't want to be doing that. Although, even though I do think he'll score. Plus 308 double for Vlahovic and Palmer. And then who else were we adding in? Son. We're adding in, aren't we, for this one with Spurs? It should be around about plus 630. Plus 630 treble parlay there.
Like that.
I quite like it as well. That's maybe worth a good nibble. Now, this relegation battle, Simon, because I mean, reaction from yesterday. I got some messages from you during the match, Everton against Burnley. We all know you're a big Everton fan, and it wasn't the greatest.
Abusive wasn't from me, Steve.
Wasn't a great watch, was it? But it was a really, really massive win for the Toffees.
Well, it was.
Probably condemns Burnley. And probably condemned, Sheffield United, we think were condemned anyway, but I think it really doesn't, especially with Luton winning as well. But, I mean, what can Everton now take from that result? Or was it just one of those fixtures which was a good matchup for them to grind out a win?
Well, I think they're going to get out of trouble now. This time last week, I told you they were bang in trouble and watch as much as I can. And I did message you and say it was probably, and this is quite an accolade given some of the games at Goodison Park this year. This is quite an accolade. It was by far the worst home game of the season in terms of the quality of it. I mean, Burnley tried to play some football, I'll give them that, and failed miserably most times, but did try. Then, of course, the fluke goal, 4 points out of 6. Everton are going to get out of trouble, but they are the luckiest team in town if they're going to stay up this year. So there needs to be massive changes at that club in terms of the performance, the management, the signings. It needs a real revamp, because Nigel Seeley made the comments quite rightly on the Premier League show that people are saying things like, Everton are a good bet. Now, of course, they did win, but it was such a lucky manner. And now it's a tough place to go. And Nigel was making the point that it isn't anymore, and that the fans are stuck in 1987, me included. So it needs a real rehash, because we can't keep coming back to this every year, being fifth bottom. It's just not enough.
Well, I couldn't believe that Dyche actually said after the game that the intention, they had a plan to win ugly. Like, he admitted that he didn't want to win any other way. And I guess that was to sort of bully Burnley into a physical battle, which they did. And Burnley haven't really got, that's been one of their big problems this season. They haven't had enough steel about them really in the Premier League. They try and play nice football, but it's often to their detriment. And look, the relegation battle is really hard to get involved in terms of betting, because we've got a Nottingham Forest points and Man United scored. Manchester United are ahead.
Wowza.
It's the youngster. Mainu is on the board for them. This is a smash and grab, really, but you cannot miss your chances, Simon.
And you can't. And you know that Liverpool have got a bad record at Old Trafford.
They do. This could, if they lose this, they could be out of the title race, completely out of it.
Well, I mean, talk about how things can change in 15 minutes. The whole nature of the season. They've got to go out. If they lose this, they've got to go out to third favourite, which is extraordinary.
I can't believe that. I mean, at half time, I didn't see this happening.
This is Klopp's leaving present from Old Trafford, isn't it? It really
what
is.
did I? I said though, like, intuition told me Man United would not just go down without some sort of a fight.
Well, we said they'd have a go. I mean, he's going to get the credit for it, but he must have been so disappointed with them at half time.
Yes, he must have been. Yeah, it's a really good finish, actually. This is a really good finish from Manu. Yeah, I mean, the keeper, you can't really moan at too much here. The defence, I mean, it's a bit of quality, but the problem is the chances that have been missed at the other end.
Well, this is it. And I mean, it's come back to haunt them, and they've got out. I mean, that's a great goal. They're just showing the replay.
Now I would be very interested in going on the over, because Liverpool have got a swing. Man United, we know they are lethal on the counter attack. What's the Asian goal line here? It must be 4.25 at -106. I'd jump on that now. It's not going to end 2-1.
Well, we've got half an hour left in reality, haven't we?
Yeah.
In reality, we've got half an hour left. These two could score another 3 goals between them.
At very worst, there's got to be one more goal here. So I'll be all over that goal line just by default now. Liverpool got to go for it. Man United on the attack. But anyway, yet again, distracted by the big game. It's been one of those games, hasn't it, where it's been kind of crazy. But Everton 6-1 in general to go down across the books now. Now the problem is Everton might still get docked points. We know that they're under investigation. We don't know there might be appeals with that. Nottingham Forest have got an appeal on the board. They are 9-4 to go down. It wasn't a good day for the Tricky Trees, was it? Let's be honest. Luton Town with a great come from behind win against Bournemouth, and I do suspect Luton will nick 2 or 3, perhaps a couple more wins at home before the end of the season.
We've been the lone Luton voices of fandom, haven't we, on this program for a while now? And of course, Instagram followers, hint hint, would have been on my bet of the weekend, Luton to beat Bournemouth.
I did see that.
Yeah. Now, very well done, again, Bournemouth on the beach was the claim. Luton, now it's on, isn't it? Now it is on. They looked 4 or 5 weeks ago as though all these late losses, all these heroic defeats were starting to break them down. But I tell you what, for me, this guy's manager of the year. I think he's different class.
Brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Remember, they've got an absolute glutton of injuries as well across the board. That's perhaps where, not necessarily squad depth, but just because they've had so many, just the sheer nature of the Premier League can be bullish on a side that players that perhaps not used to the Premier League.
Yeah, and the squad lacks depth, doesn't it?
I don't know. They've had...
Well, in comparison to teams around them. Inside,
well, I think it does lack a little bit of depth. I mean, quality depth is a better way of saying it, I always say. Yeah. It's not like you can bring in the first 11 is not that bad, actually, not as bad as some people think. But after that, there can be drop downs where they're having to put, I think there was even the odd academy player in coming off the bench for them in recent games. But Luton, I think, can get a couple more home wins. They've got teams like. They've got Everton at home, they've got Brentford at home. I think they've got Fulham at home, which is winnable. So, Forest are going to have to, at the minute, I think it's between Forest and Luton. Because presuming Everton don't get docked anything yet, and I think Everton have got the fixtures as well, to be honest. I think you've got Sheffield United at home, Brentford at home. Is it Forest at home as well?
No gimmies.
No gimmies, but you'd rather that than be going away to Manchester City, wouldn't you? If you get where I'm coming from. So,
completely,
where do you see? I mean, Brentford, by the way, are struggling to win games of football. And Ivan Toney, there was a lot of tweets about him yesterday. He was rested, of course, to the bench. Was he rested to the bench? I don't know. I mean, there's something not quite right there. He seems to be a bit above his station at Brentford. Is he looking to the clouds? Is he looking to the summer where he's going to get a bigger move?
But the problem with that, Steve, is behaving like he is to potential suitors. I would start, if I was director of football and a coach said, I want him, pay whatever they want, I'd just show you a couple of recent videos and maybe say, is this the type of character you want at the football club? Just saying. Brentford could be dragged into this, I mean, you just mentioned the 3 home winnable Luton home games. I would fancy them to win 2 of them. Yes. Now, you're then into the realms of Everton are going to fall over the line and stay up. I'm now convinced of that. Burnley, I think that was probably, if not the final nail in their coffin, then it was certainly one of the final nails in their coffin yesterday. I think the Blades are one of the worst sides ever been in the Premier
Definitely
League.
Agree with you there. Yeah.
If not as will be proven again tonight, I suspect. So you then start to think. The feeling certainly in the Everton camp, from what I gather, is they are more and more confident on this points issue as the weeks go on.
Right.
Now, please don't take that, In terms of what might happen. And we said all along, these are tricky markets to be playing in because you've got external factors that are not of your own.
Of course you do.
Doing looking at the game. So this carries a wealth warning in this market. But if they fall over the line, you're right. It's a Luton Forest shootout for the last team to drop. And I like.
Yeah, I think it's between them two. I think it's between them two, and there's a lot more pressure on Forest to stay up. I'll say that. This is a big match. This match tonight. Suddenly, we're gonna learn a lot about Forest today. Actually, if they rock up and play well, and then we're going to say they've got the composure perhaps to get themselves, out of trouble. But I suspect usually when the pressure's applied to sides like this, they do struggle. So I'm thinking Spurs probably get the result what they want. Claudio, how are you doing, Claudio? Disappointing results from the Europe show this week and on the season. Well, may I just say, not from me. I have hit 2 out of 3 winners on the European show this week, and my hot dog is currently in play. It's still live. If Monaco get me a couple of goals, we have actually. Now I have took his criticism on board this season. We were really poor for a lot of the season, but we have made back about 15, 16 units in the last 6-7 weeks. So yes, Lorient I think have lost for James today, and there was a 0-0 and an over which Daniele did, but really we have been better. We couldn't have got a lot worse, in fairness, Simon. But so we have been improving, and I think at the end of the season,
got to be seen over a full season.
Yeah, there's still time left. That's the thing, and there's still quite a lot of weeks left. So, just because there's suddenly a little bit, not as much profit, I think is probably a better way of saying it. Then stick with us. I've always said stick with us. It's the same thing. Throughout the whole year, we have generally been a lot better in the last few rounds. I'll say that much. Right, so we're going to talk about the Golf Masters soon, but there is some more football, of course, to look ahead to the weekend. I'm actually doing a recording this evening with Dan Roebuck, Will White, and Daniele Fisichella's on the Champions League and Europa League shows this week. But I'm always interested to hear your opinion, Simon, on Champions League Europa. Give us a team to win the Champions League from the current draw lineup that we've got. How do you see it going? Is there a dark horse?
Well, you never describe them as a dark horse, but I have had a few shekels on Real Madrid. I think this is just the game they need this week against Man City.
Plus 600 with that, Rivers, by the way.
Yeah, if they knock City out, I don't see anybody stopping them, because you've got players, you've got the big stars, you've got the raise your game merchants who come alive in the last 3-4 weeks of the season, year after year after year. So this is huge. This really is. And of course, City are knee deep in one of the most tense Premier League finishes in history, if not the most. Made all the more by what's going to happen in the next 25 minutes here. So everybody, Pep's got the class, he's got the squad, whatever, but they're not exactly playing a poor team. And I just think this is huge. And if Madrid can get a 2-0 or a 3-1 on the board, that's going to make it very interesting. So at the current odds, I think Madrid are just that little bit of value in the outright.
Yeah, they're a team that I've often underestimated actually this season, because they don't always play their best football, but they have a knack of getting results, and they've been getting players back fit as well in the last few weeks, which is important for them.
And you've got to remember, they're a Showtime team. They're a finals team. They're a semi-finals
big game team.
They're a big game. Here we go. Last few games of the season when it matters team. That's when year after year after year, these boys do the business.
Bayern Munich are plus 700 to win.
Not your favourite team of the year, it's fair to say, Steve.
Well, I mean, yesterday they were 2-0 up against Heidenheim as a 1-5 favourite and lost 3-2. Heidenheim, who I've constantly, I probably owe them an apology. Yes, and I probably owe them an apology. I mean, that for them, that's the stuff of dreams yesterday, but it's the stuff of nightmares for Bayern. And I'm sure we'll talk about this on the Champions League show later, but.
Well, they're not exactly coming into this game with a lot of confidence, Bayern, are they?
Well, no. And I think it's going to come down to probably a second leg game where they're going to have to just give it absolutely everything, kitchen sink sort of game. They'll probably trail after the first leg. And, Bayern at the Allianz Arena, you can never quite underestimate them. No. But I think it's going to come down to that. Stay in the first leg if they can. and then try and hope for like not a miracle, but just a one-off brilliant performance where, say, Kane bags 2 or 3, or their top players just perform in front of their own crowd, because they're not looking. The only good thing is that they're out of the Bundesliga title race and they can focus on the Champions League now. But it's just horrible form. They wouldn't interest me in there. Europa League, is it a banker, do you think? Liverpool, Leverkusen? I hope it is. I think it'd be a great final. Liverpool, Leverkusen. They're on the opposite sides of the draw.
Are Liverpool more likely to take that game more seriously now? I don't know.
Well, yeah, maybe now. Because it'll be out of their hands now, won't it?
Yeah.
That now they need help.
He's going to wander off with some silverware. He's going to want to do it, isn't he? He's going to be desperate to. So they're not going to pass up any
big party in Dublin. Big party in Dublin to finish the season off with. Wouldn't surprise me. I
fancy Liverpool strongly for that Europa League. Strongly.
And a big chance missed by Liverpool again. This time it's the Egyptian king who blazes over from fairly close to range. Oh no, was it Diaz? I'm getting mixed up with the players here, Simon. I'm going to say Mo Salah's not going to miss something like that, is he? But
you never know.
It was Mo. Yeah, Diaz with the shot, and then
pressure gets to everybody.
He should have got it on target at least, I think. Big chance. They missed. Their XG must have racked up here, Liverpool, I must say. Massively.
But, Nunes is going to be very sheepish on the coach home, you've got to think, with a few casting a look at him, because he's a serial offender of missing very easy chances.
And I think finally he's going to get. Liverpool fans have defended him a lot this season, but he has got to work on his composure and his clinical finishing. Otherwise, he's going to keep being this player that misses chances. When he'll keep going.
Even Dominic Calvert-Lewin at Everton supposed to text him and said, "Come on, mate, you've got to be more deadly than that."
No, I don't know about that. I think Simon. I know he scored.
The guy who went 19 games without a goal, then one hit his foot and went in. Yeah.
Effie says Liverpool are shooting at birds. Yeah, they are. It was high in the sky. Was that effort? That is for sure. Right, before we go, we've got to get your thoughts on the US Masters. I know you've given us your thoughts on this before.
Firstly, look out Instagram next week, Steve. Tell everybody about Instagram.
Ooh, yes, follow the Instagram account. Yeah, I'm going to actually link the Instagram account in a minute on the chat for those who are not following. But yeah, I heard that you have been drafted in for some previews on the Masters next week. And I know before you've given us some thoughts, there is, of course, a tournament to complete this evening over in America as well.
It's win and you're in. So
that's
going to mean that it's more of a tense finish than it might possibly in a normal day.
I don't know if that's ever actually happened or not, but
to get to Augusta,
win to get in and in. But anyway, just looking at the prices, I know the last time we were on the show, you said Victor Hovland was the worst 16-1 going. Well, now he's 25.
He's now 25.
So he's obviously not done much since then, has he?
No, if he wins, I'll pay you out myself, Steve. Honestly, the guy is in crisis. I cannot say I love that. I think he's great, but to get to number 2 in the world and sack your coach, it's got to be one of the most dopey decisions in the history of golf, and he's paying for it now. And he will come back, good player, gone bad, even not mad. One of my great rules in, and there is my system of good player gone bad. There is a qualifier in that, which I'll let people have.
There's a penalty.
There's
a penalty. To Liverpool.
Now this could be the season.
Oh my God! I mean, and it'll be given as well. This won't be overturned. It's Wan-Bissaka, desperate lunge on Harvey Elliott. This is a clear pen, no doubt about it whatsoever. So
then we've got time for plenty more goals. Yeah.
And as Darwin Núñez puts the ball down on the spot, no, he's not going to be taking it, is he? But it will be Mo Salah. McAllister's put the ball on the spot, actually. I mean, he can take a penalty in fairness, can't he? Alexis McAllister.
Well, anybody.
This is a huge moment. This is about as big a moment as the whole season, isn't it? I can't believe this. We're going to have to just stick with this, and then we'll resume Masters talk.
We'll come back to the golf system in 1 minute.
This is Mo Salah, the Egyptian king.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have backed him any time here. A lot of people will have him as fantasy captain. A
Will he
lot
shoot
of
at
people are going to
birds?
be on over or under 3.5
Yeah.
goals. This is a crucial moment in the game. Are you? Onana has saved some penalties this season. He saved one against FC Copenhagen, I think, to win them
Huge
the
guy.
game.
I mean, he fills a lot of the goal.
You know, he's an eccentric keeper. He's the sort of
One
bloke
way of
who
putting it.
you feel like, I mean, the wind's having an effect on the ball. The ball's moving on the spot here. So
It
this
couldn't
is
get any
taking a
more
while.
tense, this, could it?
But he steps up. He steps up Mo Salah. Score or miss? What are we saying?
Tell you after.
And he has scored.
He scored, folks.
It is. He
It
sends
gives me
Onana
no
the
pleasure,
wrong
but he
way.
scored.
It's Desmond at Old Trafford. I
It
did
is
say
a
over
Desmond.
4.25 goals was a good. Well, it's not a good shout yet because it's not cash.
Come on,
yet,
how much injury time we're going to get? 8, 9?
Oh, I mean, eight or 9, won't it? This.
Yeah.
It's going to
So
be.
we've got plenty of juice in that goals market still.
Oh, there's still time. That's for sure. Let me get to the updated odds here, because it's one of those games. This game is absolutely filled, hasn't it, with drama all game. But I'm getting the goal line now will obviously be 4.5. I'm guessing it'll be odds against, so it should be odds against anyway. No, it's odds on. It's odds on -105. We bet Rivers. That means they're factoring in +10 or something, aren't they?
Oh, it's got to be, yeah.
Under 4.5 at -1.25. Oh, that'd be a ballsy bet, wouldn't it? When Liverpool need to go for the win. Let's see how it goes. But yeah, back to US Masters golf talk then, Simon. And I mean, there has been money for some players since we last talked. Brooks Koepka is into 17-1. I think there's been money for Wyndham Clark. Might have been a bit for Joachim Neiman as well. I mean, I don't want to give you too much away, and I'm sure your final decisions will be made during this week. But is there like a player that is just simply overpriced right now for the Masters?
Yeah. I mean, I use a system called Good Player Gone Bad. It's been a very lucrative form of winners over the years. There is a qualifier. I won't waste people's time by going into about the 9 rules we have to do it. But Colin Morikawa is the qualifier, and he is plus 4,000, isn't he? 40-1.
Colin Morikawa, former major winner, multiple
major winner. The best iron player in the world of the last 5 years on the stats.
Why is he so big then, Simon?
It's called Good Player Gone Bad. He's been playing bad golf, but he's talking himself up and says he's playing better than he's scored, making all the right noises. Now, he's too good to not click, and he'll click again very soon. He's also like Brooks Koepka, Stephen, that he is obsessed, probably with the exception of Brooks Koepka, obsessed by the 4 majors and the 4 big weeks. We've seen him win the Open, we've seen him win the PGA. Could he add a green jacket? He's certainly overpriced. And I tell you what, I'd much rather be on Morikawa at 40-1 than Victor Hovland, bless him, who's rank out of form and has never won a major in his life.
The player that I'm seeing a lot of people tipping up or suggesting is going to win it, even though his form's not brilliant, I don't think, is Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka from the Live Tour, 4th favourite with Bet Rivers. We know he's wanted a green jacket all his life. He's got a good record here. I mean, how much do you take from him not quite being on song this year? I mean, we're going to get from Live at all?
Yeah, we're going to get a real spread of the Live guys and see where we are in the world of golf. There is a school of thought that the Live Tour courses are set up for its TV entertainment, for low scores, that the stats, some of the numbers that they're pulling are not realistic to how PGA Tour courses are set up. Live furiously deny that. We're going to see this week where we are. Of course, we've got the great Cameron Smith, who's played so well in the Masters as well. We've got some other Live players that are playing well. Koepka was only beaten by a majestic Jon Rahm. He's possibly in his last couple of years, but unlike Dustin Johnson and some of the Live players who are, on the beach permanently or gone fishing, as it were, and not putting the time in, Koepka will not come in here undercooked. He will be ready to rumble. I think he's a great each way play, and of course you've got your places with Bet Rivers. I certainly wouldn't put anybody off getting there. I think he'll be in that top 5. I really am. But whether he's going to do it, is he a better player than he was last year? No. Did he win it last year? No, he didn't. So he's slightly on the decline. He's playing on a less competitive tour. I don't know. One thing's for sure, Scotty Scheffler's going to set off a shorter favourite. We're almost back to the times of Tiger Woods, Steve, now with this short.
Yeah, Scheffler obviously is a class act. There's always some doubts about his putting, isn't there? But he's a quality player. And it wouldn't shock anyone if he won the green jacket again, would it? But it's going to be food for thought. I'm going to be intrigued to see what your final suggestions. So
we'll have a bet in the outright. Be exclusive on Instagram, but we're also going to look at some other markets, including possibly, let's see, these live players. Who's going to be the top, or the international markets, or players maybe to make the cut or to miss the cut. So keep an eye out on Instagram. It's going to be a hell of a week.
That is the link there. I'll put it in the chat for anyone who wants to follow because we went on Instagram. There is some exclusive content on there. There's often some in-running plays from the handicappers, tennis, football, everything, the lot. So that's going to conclude it today, Simon. There's probably another 10 minutes in this game, so we're not going to hang around for that. But look, thanks everyone who's joined in. I'm not sure. Hopefully it was streamed well enough. I said there were some technical problems at the start, potentially. I don't know. I'll have to watch it back. But appreciate anyone who's been in with the comments, with the likes, watching on demand as well, of course. And we'll be back next week. Neil challenged you on. I think you're on the week after as well, Simon. It's a nice little rotation we've got going at the minute. And crunch stage of the season in so many sports. A lot of action going on, a lot of handle going on as we sort to enter the summer period. But it's been a pleasure having you, Simon, as always. And you were looking great as ever.
Thank you, Steve. And you, mate. And you.
Best dressed. And how was Portugal? I saw you on the videos.
Oh, I'm sorry. The link's just going off. I'm sorry, Steve. It's just finishing the thing. Thank you, everybody. What a great week of sport.
Brilliant sport, mate. We will take care, everyone. Stay safe. Cash those tickets.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.